Last month, I watched blood drip from my guinea pig's ear while I tore through kitchen drawers looking for gauze that wouldn't poison her. Butterscotch had snagged herself during one of those joyful popcorn jumps, and I realized way too late that I had nothing prepared. My name is Mariana Vasquez, and I specialize in small pet care with a focus on guinea pigs and other animals that fit into apartment life. You're listening to Total Pet Parent Podcast. Quick heads up, the voice you're hearing is AI generated, but everything else, the research, the testing, the writing, all of that is done by real people who actually work with these animals every day. If you've been listening for a while, thank you. It's good to have you back. And if this is your first time here, welcome to the show. We release new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, covering practical stuff that actually matters when you're caring for pets. Today, we're talking about something I learned the hard way, so let's get into it. That panic with Butterscotch taught me something I should have known years ago. Having a proper pet first aid kit within arm's reach isn't something you get around to eventually. It's as essential as food and water. Emergencies don't check your schedule, and they definitely don't wait for your vet's office hours. After that scare, I went deep into researching every kit available. I tested supplies on hypothetical scenarios, read ingredient lists until my eyes blurred, and talked to other pet owners about what actually worked when things went sideways. Here's what I learned about finding the right first aid kit for your household. The quick version? You need a kit designed specifically for animals, not humans. Human supplies often contain ingredients that are toxic to pets. You need comprehensive wound care basics, and everything should match your pet's size and species. Now let's talk about what actually matters when you're choosing a kit. Species makes a huge difference here. A first aid kit for a 70-pound Labrador looks nothing like one meant for a 3-pound guinea pig or a 10-pound cat. Dogs need larger bandages and muzzles because even the sweetest dog might bite when they're hurt and scared. Cats require different restraint approaches and ways to keep them calm under stress. Small animals like rabbits, guinea pigs, and hamsters need ultra-gentle materials since their skin tears so easily, and stress alone can send them into shock. Look for kits that either tell you exactly which species they're designed for or include versatile supplies that work across different pet types. I made the mistake of buying a so-called universal kit that came with a muzzle my guinea pigs obviously couldn't use, plus bandages way too big for their tiny legs. If you've got multiple types of pets, you might need more than one kit, or you'll need to build a comprehensive one yourself and customize it. The core of any decent kit is wound management. At minimum, you need sterile gauze pads in multiple sizes, non-stick wound pads, self-adhering bandage wrap that sticks to itself but not to fur, and medical tape gentle enough for sensitive skin. Trust me on that fur thing, it matters a lot. Antiseptic solutions are critical too. Look for chlorhexidine or povidone iodine, which are safe for most pets when you dilute them properly. Avoid hydrogen peroxide for cleaning wounds. Despite what older advice says, vets now know it damages tissue and actually slows healing. I also look for kits with hemostatic gauze or styptic powder for controlling bleeding. When Butterscotch cut her ear, having styptic powder on hand meant the difference between managing it at home and racing to an emergency vet at midnight. For small animals especially, even minor blood loss can become serious fast. They have so little to spare. Here's something I didn't appreciate until I desperately needed it. Panic makes you forget everything. The best kits include laminated instruction cards or a reference booklet with clear, step-by-step guidance for common emergencies. Look for materials covering how to help a choking pet, CPR instructions specific to your pet's size, what to do during seizures, and how to handle bite wounds. Some kits include contact cards where you can write down your vet's number ahead of time, the nearest emergency clinic, and poison control. The ASPCA Animal Poison Control Center is at 888-426-4435, and it's invaluable. Having those numbers already written down when you're shaking and your pet isn't moving right, that's worth more than half the supplies in the box. A first aid kit buried in a closet or falling apart in your car trunk won't help anyone. Look for durable, water-resistant cases with clear organization, either compartments, pouches, or labeled sections. I keep one in my apartment and a smaller travel version for vet visits. Both have sturdy handles and bright colors, so I can spot them instantly. For multi-pet households or people who travel with their animals, portability becomes crucial. A compact kit with a belt loop or carabiner attachment works great for hiking with dogs. A small pouch fits easily in a carrier bag for transporting small animals. The case should open wide enough that you're not fishing around with one hand while trying to hold an injured pet with the other. Another lesson from that bleeding ear incident with Butterscotch. This is where human first aid supplies can actually harm your pets. Many ointments and creams contain ingredients that are toxic to animals, especially cats. Cats are particularly sensitive to essential oils, tea tree oil, and loads of medications. Dogs might tolerate more, but they'll lick anything you put on them, so you have to think about ingestion safety. The best pet kits use veterinary-formulated or explicitly pet-safe products. Check that any included medications list their active ingredients clearly. For small animals like guinea pigs, rabbits, and hamsters, I'm even more cautious. Their tiny bodies and different metabolisms mean substances that are safe for dogs can be lethal to them. When you're not sure, simpler is safer. Sterile saline, plain gauze, and a call to your vet beat experimenting with questionable ointments. Tweezers, scissors, and thermometers should match your pet's size. Blunt-tip scissors prevent accidental pokes when you're cutting bandages near a squirming animal. Digital thermometers with flexible tips work best for small pets. Yes, you use them rectally. It's undignified but accurate. Tweezers should have fine points for removing splinters or debris from wounds, but enough grip strength for tick removal on dogs. For small animals, I actually prefer kits that include syringes without needles for giving oral medications or fluids. When one of my guinea pigs had a respiratory issue, being able to give her water-diluted critical care formula through a syringe probably saved her life before we made it to the vet. Moving on to the actual kits I recommend. The RC Pet Products Pocket Pet First Aid Kit is designed specifically for small animals, rabbits, guinea pigs, ferrets, and similar pets. That immediately puts it ahead of most competitors that only focus on dogs and cats. This compact kit includes appropriately sized gauze pads, self-adhering wrap in narrow widths, antiseptic wipes, and a small digital thermometer with a flexible tip. What works well here is the sizing for animals under 10 pounds. It includes a critical care feeding information card, and the compact case is about 6 by 4 inches, so it fits easily in carrier bags. It contains styptic powder for nail bleeding, the antiseptic wipes are alcohol-free and pet-safe, and it includes an emergency contact card. The downsides are that it doesn't include a syringe for oral medication. There's a limited quantity of supplies, so you'll need refills for multiple emergencies, and the case zipper can be stiff when it's new. Check the show notes for a link to the current price. The Pet First Aid for Dogs plus Cats Complete Kit offers the most comprehensive supply list I've found, over 50 items ranging from basic bandages to emergency blankets. It comes in a bright red nylon case with multiple labeled compartments, making it easy to grab what you need when your hands are shaking. The strengths here are that it includes a muzzle, emergency blanket, and cold compress. The laminated instruction cards cover 12 common emergencies. The antiseptic spray is chlorhexidine-based, which vets recommend. There are multiple bandage sizes for different wound types, elastic wrap for sprains or joint stabilization, and most supplies have a 5-year shelf life. The problems are the heavy focus on dogs, so some items are less useful for cats or small pets. The large size, about 10 by 7 by 3 inches, doesn't fit in smaller travel carriers, and despite being marketed as complete, the thermometer is sold separately. Check the show notes for a link to the current price. The Kurgo Dog First Aid Kit targets active dog owners who hike, camp, or travel frequently. It's built into a rugged, weatherproof case with a carabiner attachment. The supply selection reflects outdoor emergency priorities like tick removal tools, paw protection wax, and extra absorbent wound pads. What works is the weatherproof case that keeps supplies dry in any conditions. It includes a tick remover and tweezers for outdoor hazards, paw balm for cracked or injured pads, and it's compact enough to clip to a backpack or leash bag. There's a reflective strip on the case for visibility and a quick reference card specific to hiking injuries. The downsides are its dog-specific sizing, so not suitable for cats or small animals. Limited bandage quantities with only 3 gauze pads. The paw protection wax takes up space that could hold more gauze, and despite being marketed for active dogs, there's no muzzle included. Check the show notes for a link to the current price. The Rayco International First Aid Kit for Pets takes a different approach, with a soft-sided, zippered case that lays flat when you open it, displaying all contents at once. It's designed for multi-pet households and includes species-specific instruction sections for dogs, cats, and small animals. The advantages are the lay-flat design that shows all supplies at a glance, an instruction booklet covering dogs, cats, rabbits, and birds, and it includes both a digital thermometer and a syringe without a needle. The triple antibiotic ointment is a pet-safe formulation. Multiple compartments keep items organized, and it includes nail clippers and a file, which is surprisingly useful. The weak points are the soft case offers less protection than hard-sided options. The zipper tends to catch on the fabric edge. The instruction booklet is text-heavy without enough diagrams, and there's no emergency blanket or cold compress included. Check the show notes for a link to the current price. The Arca Pet First Aid Kit is the budget-friendly option that doesn't skimp on essentials. It comes in a bright orange nylon case with a handle, includes surprisingly comprehensive supplies, and costs roughly half what premium kits charge. What makes it good value is the supply quantity for the price. It includes sizing for both cats and dogs. The bandages and gauze are quality materials, not thin or cheap feeling. There's an emergency contact card with space for multiple pets. Styptic powder and antiseptic wipes are included, and the case is easy to clean and highly visible. The trade-offs are the instruction card is basic and doesn't cover complex emergencies. No thermometer is included. The scissors are functional but not as sharp as premium kits. And the tape adhesive is pretty aggressive and can pull fur. Check the show notes for a link to the current price. Now let's cover some common questions. Can you use a human first aid kit for your pet? No, and this is where well-meaning pet owners often make dangerous mistakes. Human first aid kits contain medications like ibuprofen, acetaminophen, and aspirin that are toxic to most pets, especially cats and small animals. Even topical ointments with ingredients like zinc oxide or benzocaine can cause serious harm if your pet licks them. I learned this when I was researching after Butterscotch's injury. What seems like basic wound care for us can be deadly for them. Pet-specific kits use veterinary-approved antiseptics, avoid toxic ingredients, and include tools sized appropriately for animal anatomy. Investing in a proper animal first aid kit is your first step in being prepared. How often should you replace supplies in your pet first aid kit? Check your kit every 6 months and replace any expired items. Yes, gauze and antiseptic solutions do expire. Sterile supplies lose their sterility over time. Adhesive tape dries out, and ointments separate or become ineffective. I keep a small sticky note inside my kit with the date I last checked it, which helps since life gets busy and 6 months vanishes between guinea pig nail trims and cage cleanings. After you use any supplies, replace them immediately, rather than telling yourself you'll do it later. I've made that mistake, reaching for gauze that I'd already used weeks before. Also inspect for water damage, especially in kits stored in garages or cars, where temperature and humidity fluctuate. What's the most important item in a pet first aid kit? Honestly, the emergency contact list. I know that sounds less dramatic than hemostatic gauze or splints, but when your pet is injured, panic makes you forget even your own vet's phone number. Having pre-written numbers for your regular veterinarian, the nearest 24-hour emergency clinic, and the ASPCA Animal Poison Control Center right in your kit saves precious minutes. Beyond that, I'd say sterile gauze and self-adhering bandage wrap are the physical items you'll use most. They handle everything from minor cuts to more serious wounds until you can reach professional help. Having the contacts and bandaging supplies ready means you can act instead of scrambling.
Do you need different first aid kits for different types of pets? It depends on the species gap between your pets. If you have both a dog and a cat, one comprehensive kit with varied bandage sizes usually works, but if you have dogs and guinea pigs like my household, the size and care differences are significant enough that I keep separate kits. Small animals need gentler materials, tiny gauze pads, and extremely careful handling since they go into shock easily. They also can't use muzzles, and their dosing for any medications requires veterinary guidance. You can't just use less of a dog product. Birds need entirely different care approaches. My recommendation is one primary kit covering your largest pets, then a supplemental small kit specifically for tiny animals if you have them. The overlap in basic supplies like gauze and saline isn't wasted money when emergencies hit multiple pets. Where should you store your pet first aid kit? Keep your primary kit somewhere you can reach it in under 30 seconds without thinking, not tucked away in a closet you'd need to unlock or dig through. I keep mine in the cabinet right next to my guinea pig's cage, alongside their daily care supplies. For dog or cat owners, somewhere near where your pet spends most of their time makes sense. A second travel-sized kit should stay in your car if you transport pets regularly. Avoid storing kits in extremely hot or cold locations like garages in summer or unheated sheds in winter, since temperature extremes degrade supplies. If you have multiple floors in your home, consider a kit on each level. Carrying an injured pet up or downstairs while also hunting for supplies isn't ideal, and make sure everyone in your household knows exactly where the kit lives. So here's my final take. The best pet first aid kit for your household ultimately depends on which species you're caring for and how you spend time together. If you're primarily a dog owner who loves outdoor adventures, the Kurgo Dog First Aid Kit's weatherproof design and hiking-specific supplies make sense. Multi-pet households with both cats and dogs get the most value from the Pet First Aid for Dogs plus Cats Complete Kit, despite its bulk. For my fellow small animal parents, the RC Pet Products Pocket Pet First Aid Kit finally gives us appropriately sized supplies. I've used mine 3 times now, twice for minor injuries and once for a nail trim that went slightly wrong. Having those tiny gauze pads and narrow bandages meant I could actually help, instead of improvising with oversized dog supplies. Whatever kit you choose, customize it for your specific pets. Add extra gauze if you have multiple animals. Toss in a second thermometer if it's missing. And write down those emergency numbers tonight, not after something goes wrong. That moment with Butterscotch bleeding and me frantically searching drawers taught me that preparation isn't paranoia. It's responsible pet ownership. That wraps up this episode of Total Pet Parent Podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll have a new episode for you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If this was helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a 5-star rating and write a quick review. It sounds small, but it genuinely helps other pet owners find the show when they're searching for answers. And go ahead and subscribe or follow so you get notified the second a new episode drops. Talk to you soon.